Thank you for joining us on our presentation about Herzberg's two-factor motivation theory. So before we start, we'd like to introduce ourselves. So we are Megan, Kirobel, Sofia, and I am Solveig. Just a quick overview of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about who was Herzberg, who founded this theory, how to motivate your employees. Then we're going to dig further into the theory, provide a positive and a negative argument, following with some critical thinking and our own opinion. So, who was Frederick Herzberg? He was born in the States in 1923 and passed away in 2000, and he was a US clinical psychologist. He later became a professor of management at the University of Utah, where he developed his two-factor hygiene motivation theory, which was first published in the Motivation to Work in 1959. He's most known for this theory, and he also said that mental health is the core issue of our times, and in that way he was ahead of many people at his time. So he had this question: how do you motivate your employees? And since he thought a lot about mental health, he determined work-related factors that people liked and disliked about their jobs. He divided the work-related factors into two: motivation factors, or satisfiers, and hygiene factors, or dissatisfier. So, following this, Megan is gonna go more into depth with the theory.
The first category in Herzberg's theory is motivation factors and satisfiers. They relate to the nature of the work and how the employee performs it. These are intrinsic motivation. Some of them are promotion opportunities, achievement, recognition for achievement, the work itself, responsibility, growth, etc. The second category is hygiene factors or dissatisfiers. These factors prevent job dissatisfaction and are related to the job environment or extrinsic motivations. Physical working conditions, company policy, administration, supervision, interpersonal relationships, salary, status, and security are some of these examples. Fixing a hygiene problem will prevent or alleviate job dissatisfaction, but won't improve job satisfaction. To improve satisfaction, they must address motivation factors. We think the Herzberg two-factor motivation main formula is eliminate dissatisfiers and enhance satisfiers. The conclusion that he drew is that job satisfaction and job dissatisfaction are not opposites. The opposite of satisfaction is no satisfaction, and the opposite of dissatisfaction is no dissatisfaction. Herzberg used this model to explain that an individual at work can be satisfied and dissatisfied at the same time, as these two sets of factors work in separate sequences. In 1975, Rogers said that adequate salary, good working conditions, respected supervisors, and likable co-workers will not produce a satisfied worker. They will only produce a worker who is not dissatisfied. So hygiene levels must be acceptable in order for the motivation factors to become operative. We found that Herzberg's theory is comparable to Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. In Maslow's theory of motivation, the lower needs on the proposed pyramids must be met or fulfilled before the higher needs. So the motivators in Herzberg's theories are similar to the intrinsic factors or higher needs in Maslow's theory, and the extrinsic in Maslow's theory resemble the hygiene factors or dissatisfiers in Herzberg's two-factor theory.
Following the positive arguments of the theory, we're going to head over to the negative aspects. So even though the Herzberg two-factor theory is widely integrated around the world, there is surely still room for critiques. One of the issues worth addressing being when humans reflect on their work and productivity, when all is going well in the workplace, there's a possibility that they only give credit to themselves. Meaning, when an employee is doing a good job and feels confident about their ability to do so, they feel as that it's mainly their doing rather than the company providing them with a motivating environment, an environment with room for further development and good hygiene in place. So this is meaning the employee might even feel as they're almost superior for doing such a good job, feeling as it is them that is the core asset to the company, rather than realizing or appreciating that the company's effort is really trying to motivate you. Consequently, this can be a downfall for the company, and could even lead to high turnover if employees do not feel or realize that the strong motivation and hygiene level is in place due to the employer's efforts to boost productivity and create a good working environment. Another point of judgment is that the two-factor theory assumes that job satisfaction goes hand in hand with increased productivity. Even though this might be partially true, there are without a doubt reasons to disagree with this statement. Herzberg failed to take into consideration external factors that might affect employees' productivity, despite being satisfied at work. For example, employees with mental issues, or even any issues in their personal lives. Another example of an external factor that could affect this productivity could be frequent rude customers, which could affect the employee's mood and therefore decrease their productivity.
So, moving on to critical thinking, Herzberg two-factor theory is still valid. We still see companies using the theory, especially in the hospitality industry. A company often prides themselves of following this theory to make their company more attractive for new members. However, it can be hard to deliver the company promise, leading to dissatisfaction as they have been made a false promise. Example of a company following the theory, which we chose Tesco. So Tesco created a condition for job satisfaction, as Herzberg calls job enrichment. This can be created by creating opportunity for achievement, creating training, and acknowledgement of your team achievement. Moving on, example of employees being prone to favoritism, we can see example at Atlantis the Palm Dubai, as an self-experience as an intern. Has certain SOP regarding employees' growth within the company. However, it is common for those benefits. It's not being distributed evenly among all members. This can be as a discrimination due to age, race, or simply favoritism. This can direct to be unsatisfied employee, which are careless, which will definitely impact the work environment. So our opinion regards Herzberg two-factor theory is, yes, indeed, we agree with the theory, but if it's only followed correctly. You should also try to hire employee that fits with your company culture, which are more likely to be more motivated and satisfied. However, being motivated does not necessarily mean increasing productivity. For a question, where would we apply it? Yes, of course, we would apply it to big hospitality institution such as a big hotel. Why? It's because it can be harder to keep track of employees' satisfaction within bigger companies. As a conclusion, employees are motivated by the fulfillment of the higher level physiological needs, such as recognition, a sense of achievement, advancement and responsibility, and the nature of the work they have to do. All in all, the two factors from the theory combined, being motivators and hygiene, should lead to employee satisfaction. It will not cause satisfaction. If they are not met, it will cause dissatisfaction. If the motivation factors are met is not enough to cause satisfaction, hygiene factors also must be in place. The two-factor theory adds to Maslow's hierarchy of needs by stating that dissatisfaction in the work can be found even if all needs in Maslow are met. Thank you for listening, and here is our references.